We all understand the need for a little time to ourselves, don't we? Finding a quiet corner in our busy lives can feel like a gift. It's a chance to breathe deeply, to hear our own thoughts, to recharge our spirits. Peaceful solitude can be a wonderful, stress-relieving friend, helping us feel more grounded and centered in a world that often pulls us in a million different directions. A quiet afternoon with a good book, a walk alone in nature can feel like a healing balm for the soul. We come back from these moments feeling refreshed, renewed, and ready to connect with the world once again. This kind of choice is a beautiful and necessary part of being human. But there is another side to being alone, a much darker and more painful side. This happens when solitude is not a choice we make, but a condition that is forced upon us. Imagine being cut off from everyone and everything you know, not just for a few hours, but for days, weeks, or even years. This is involuntary isolation, a profound separation from the human connection that we all need to survive and to thrive. When this happens, the quiet that once felt peaceful can turn into a deafening silence. The experience is no longer about finding yourself. It becomes about losing yourself in a vast emptiness, a place where the mind and body can begin to break down in surprising and devastating ways. The line between healthy solitude and harmful isolation is the line between choice and force. When we are in control, we can dip into quiet moments and come back out, strengthened. But when control is taken away, the experience changes entirely. The effects of forced isolation are not the same for everyone. However, researchers and experts have found common patterns of harm. When a person is forced into isolation, one of the first things to happen is that the body's stress system goes into overdrive. The brain starts pumping out stress hormones, getting ready for a fight or a flight that never comes. At first, this is a natural survival response. But when the isolation continues day after day, that stress becomes chronic, like an alarm that is always ringing. This constant state of high alert begins to physically change the brain. The part of our brain that acts as the hub for reasoning, good judgment, impulse control, known as the prefrontal cortex, can actually begin to shrink. This makes it harder to focus, to remember things, and to think clearly and rationally. At the same time, another part of the brain is becoming more powerful. The limbic system, our emotional center that regulates fear and stress, can become hyperactive. Think of it as a scale that is slowly tipping out of balance. The rational thinking part of the brain gets weaker, while the emotional fearful part gets stronger and louder. The damage caused by forced isolation is not confined to the mind. The body suffers deeply as well, crying out in a silent scream of distress. When we talk about forced, prolonged isolation, we are often talking about a specific practice used within prison systems known as solitary confinement. The United Nations' many human rights organizations, medical experts classifies this practice as a form of torture. And yet, it continues to be used, particularly in the United States. In 2019, it was estimated that over 120,000 people in United States prisons were living in these conditions. This means spending 22 to 24 hours a day locked inside a tiny cell, often no bigger than a parking space. These cells are typically stark, concrete boxes, many of them without a window to the outside world. The history of solitary confinement is a story of good intentions gone horribly wrong. The practice was first introduced in the United States by Quaker groups in the late 1700s. They believed it would be a humane alternative to physical punishments like whipping. The idea was that silence and isolation would give a person time for quiet reflection and penitence, which is where we get the word penitentiary. However, it did not take long for people to see the immense cruelty of the practice. Esteemed public figures, including the author Charles Dickens, condemned it, with Dickens calling it a punishment worse than any torture of the body. Its use declined for many years because of this criticism. Then, in the 1980s, things changed. As part of a larger tough-on-crime movement, prison populations in the United States began to skyrocket. As prisons became more and more crowded, tensions rose, leading to protests and violence. In response, prison authorities turned to solitary confinement as a tool to maintain control over a chaotic system. The problem is that people were, and still are, often sent to solitary for minor, non-violent infractions. Something as simple as talking back to a guard or having a contraband item could land someone in isolation for weeks, months, even years. This practice is harmful to every single person who endures it, and especially damaging for those with pre-existing mental health challenges. Instead of care, conditions are made worse by extreme stress and sensory deprivation. It creates deeper, lasting damage, undermining rehabilitation. The harm from solitary confinement does not end when the cell door finally opens. People who've been through solitary are 3 times more likely to show signs of PTSD. Anxiety, paranoia, and difficulty connecting persist. There is a better way. Humane approaches with education, work, treatment, and safe social interaction help people get better together.